but yeah, taking meditation more and more seriously is something that I would like to do more and more.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too bad. It's a busy and hectic life, so I take every bit of time that I can to return to center and do some practice on things that matter most.
And we met on LinkedIn, and you were the first one who pointed out the like on my profile on the top, the art of Alex Gray. So where and how did you see him? Like, do you remember?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm 45 now. I've been
Like me. I'm also 45.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I've been interested. I mean, it started as a child when I was much younger. Crystal energy, and
Oh, cool.
I was able
I have one here.
Yes, lovely. So I was able to hunt crystals in Natal, where I lived. And every middle of the year, we would go camping, and I would have this world of wonder all to myself. So an original fascination for me in life was crystals, and then just time and space, the greater mysteries of life. And that's before schooling and upbringing really took over. But in my teenage years, I started exploring, what's this all about, and I guess it was only mid-20s or so, started following and studying the work of Terence McKenna and others. And Alex Gray, I think I was introduced to, well, it would have been along with Terence McKenna, but also the band Tool. So they work with Alex Gray in terms of their artwork and things like that. But yeah, I think it just got woven in with everything that I was following along the way.
And
so it feels like it's been forever. 30 years.
What particularly did you like in the artwork of Alex Gray? Like, he often started with painting the human beings, the bodies naked, or even like without the skin, so you kind of see inside all the blood vessels, the nerves, the brain, and then also it's also connected for me with the meridians, the acupuncture points, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you also interested in that, in like the Chinese medicine, the meridians?
Yeah. What I'm more drawn to is the energetic field. I mean, it's great to see the physical body being shown like that, but for me, it's the energetic body and the connection of the energetic body to the rest of life. That really appeals to me the most.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that connectedness that I've really been studying all of this time. Yeah.
Starting with the crystals, and now you're working with these metallic spheres, or how do you call them? Do you have one near you?
Yeah. So I've got a double ring here. So that's just one ring within another one, and these guys produce a column of light going in both directions from the center of the ring, about 9 meters in either direction, and then they can be combined. This is a 4-ring tensor field generator, and then this is according to the Janisa crystal form. and then there's a 6-ring tensor field generator, which is according to the icosahedron. So yeah, the difference in character with these are that they produce a sphere-shaped tensor field. So this one actually produces a field that's 9.59 kilometers in diameter. And then the smaller ones.
Did you measure that? How come you know exactly how far their effect or their positive energy goes? Are there
so that was done with dowsing.
With dowsing. So these
dowsing.
like these it's not magnetic, it's metallic, like two wires.
You can do it like that. I'll just use a pendulum.
A pendulum, okay.
Yeah, it's actually very, very basic. It's just let me just get my arm out the way. It's just a glass ball. I've got a really, really, really cool one, crystal. But the crystal ones don't work as well because they're energetic in their own right. So I find it's easier to be more accurate with something like glass or a metal pendulum. So yeah, in that way, I mean, the reason why the tensor rings work, twisting the copper wire eliminates the positive and negative end. When you join it with soldering, that forms a closed coil loop, and the tensor ring then acts as an antenna which connects to the etheric template, the non-physical form of the ring, which is the first to be created. So they're multi-dimensional tools that come to us from the other side first, and then we manifest them physically here. And the sacred cubit measures, I mean, they've been used by ancient civilizations all over the world, and there's 3 in particular that are in the public domain that have etheric templates linked to them. So getting that final measurement as well, I work with a steel ruler up to a point, but because it's 2 decimal places on a millimeter, like this generator is made out of lengths of 278.43 millimeters. So I'll work up to a point on the steel ruler, and then the final length is confirmed with dowsing. So filing the ends until we get to that final length. And because you can't do it by eye, dowsing is the ideal way to do it. So that's what it establishes a working tensor ring, is that sacred cubit measure or geometrical length, and then soldering it together to form a ring, or weave a number of them to create a generator. So yeah, this one produces a field that's 4.165 kilometers in diameter, and it's again checked with dowsing. So at every step of the way, I'm checking from a quality assurance point of view that everything's correct, and then upon completion also that it's a fully functioning tool, whichever tool it happens to be. And then very importantly, when you're doing the twisting of the copper wire, because there's a crystalline structure within copper, is to do that work from the sacred space of the heart. So we can get there with 3 simple breaths. And then really just thanks and gratitude to everyone that's been involved in bringing this technology to light, and then doing the twisting of the copper, because it is changing the crystalline structure. But apart from that, it's something that anyone can really do with materials that you can buy, that are easily available.
But you also sell your products, your rings.
Yeah. So I do that directly. It's obviously important from the point of view of earning an income, But my main focus is on the mission to protect people on the planet. And I trust that whilst I'm busy with that, my own needs and my family's needs will be taken care of. And that's how it seems to be working.
So you send me a PDF, and I can
Yeah.
see that like the main benefits of your tensor field generators is, for example, to transform the harmful EMF radiation, the like from Wi-Fi devices or so that are very chaotic, I guess. No, that's why they're harmful. They're kind of like I think people, if you compare, we are 45, like if we can compare how we were, like our general state 20 years ago or 25 years ago, when internet and Wi-Fi wasn't so prevalent, it's basically you weren't distracted all the time. You weren't like stressed and wanted to check your social media feed all the time. You were like, maybe there was TV. I was a little bit addicted to movies, TV, but it's nothing compared to really 24 hours all the time being online. It's almost like I feel we're totally distracted from the source and like the natural energy that we could tap into. What do you think?
Yeah, that reminds me about one of the things I try and do daily along the lines of meditation, and that's grounding. Just being barefoot on the grass and exchanging energy naturally with earth.
Grounding, and I also see the tensor field generators also can restore water's original life supporting blueprint.
Yeah, so that goes back to water. In terms of time, it goes back to water when it first made an appearance on Earth. So it clears the memory and restores the original blueprint of water. So it's basically going back to, I guess it's the signature of water. Basically taking it back
do you know like how the Japanese researcher Emoto looked at the water crystals after doing like he like experimented with heavy metal and then classical music, or like thinking about hate and then thinking about love, and that's maybe one way to show it and prove it. Many people think, oh, that's pseudoscience, but I think at the moment we need more like exploration and not really being stuck in this materialistic science, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. We do, and it's it's quite a challenge. The scientific mind always comes up with the questions, but how we'll prove it, and things like that. So and this technology is really both science and spirits, and you can never fully satisfy the scientific mind with answers, because the scientific approach is one of reduction or isolation. It looks at the parts, and from looking at those parts, tries to explain how the whole works. But generally only identifies and discusses the different parts. So here we have something that transforms harmful EMF radiation. It restores water to its original life supporting blueprint, scrubs our DNA, and that crosses disciplines of both science and spirit. So in terms of validating all of these different things, it really comes down to the work of biofeedback, dowsing, and psychic work, to look at the whole and describe what it is that these devices are actually capable of assisting us with.
Yeah, and DNA or like the gene research is also very, how do you call it? It's very much in the news at the moment with the vaccines,
Yes.
the mRNA vaccines, and you also I just see it's your devices, your how would you call it? Are the what you sell or what you produce, what you create, are these devices, or are there instruments, you could call them, or antennas?
Yeah. Tools is quite a good way of describing them.
So your tool can then repair and optimize DNA, reduce pain and inflammation. And inflammation is sometimes a side effects of the vaccines, or just generally, if you're overweight, if you have too much stress around you, can be psychological or professional. Then it sounds to me also like a meditation helper, kind of. Maybe it can really refocus. I for example, I have a cactus near the place where I meditate, or also the crystal. It somehow symbolizes like this order and this sacred geometry. Don't you think so?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's so interesting, the tensor field generators, because they'll even transform geopathic stresses, so negative ley lines intersect and things like that, and so we can see this in nature where trees and plants are not growing properly or distorted. In cities, we can see this with buildings that are dilapidated, or in a business center where there's a high turnover of shops and tenants. That's generally where there's geopathic stress, just a negative area of energy. So the tensor field generators deal with that as well. I think fundamentally I mean, as a basic mode, they're creating coherence in energy.
Coherence in your life, create harmony. It's also what many people are looking for. Create happiness.
Yeah.
Are you wearing one of your amulets at the moment?
Yeah, I'm wearing a Hidaka and a double ring pendant, small one.
Yeah.
With two different sacred Cupid measures on it.
And you also sleep with it, or do you take it off?
Oh yeah, no. I take it off to shower, and that's about it. Otherwise, I'm wearing them constantly.
But probably if you're sensitive to electrical devices, it can give you some protection now.
Oh, absolutely, big time protection. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, some of my clients have gone from having nosebleeds to feeling sustained strength and energy, but actually having nosebleeds from exposure to Wi-Fi, and that stuff. So it affects different people in different ways. So it can be anything from fatigue and headaches, depression, anxiety,
I have that. Yeah. I need something. I need some shield to kind of neutralize and harmonize all these there are basically like signals, kind of always trying to nag you. It's this nagging force,
Yeah.
I feel. Yeah.
Yes.
And I just want to calm down. I once also went to a monastery where I didn't use the smartphone and so, and then I immediately
Mm.
had colorful, lively dreams again, and I could focus
Yes.
again on reading a book, and it was
Yes.
much more pleasurable than always being
Yeah.
bombarded by these signals.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So they help a lot. They really help tremendously, but it doesn't, we still have to face challenges in life. We still have to deal with what we have to deal with.
Yeah.
But they help us do it with more ease and grace. I think that's what it comes down to. So I'm just giving it some time, not going to push too much, but I will follow up because I think it's what needs to happen ultimately. Is that
It's your mission, to protect
it's
people.
yes.
And the planet,
So
not just the people, the planet too.
absolutely, because
Yeah.
we're all one.